15-20 minutes doesn't go their way, they can't win, they won't win. But if they can snatch it in that film in 20 minutes, they're a chance.
But maybe an important point is they don't need to rely on the spectacular nature of a left to right. Remember, they scored that try to win the game because they were in the game.
Yeah, they defend the lights. Like, they are unbelievable at letting teams not get away from them, but they're going to have to score points. Hull are the best defensive team in the comp. They're going to have to score.
They can get that from scrapping, though. They can get it from 1% efforts as well, like they did last week.
Oh, the last home game of this memorable season for Hull Kingston Rovers and their supporters. Will they be making the trip across the M62 to Old Trafford next Saturday? They were there last year. It ended in defeat against the Wigan Warriors. Wigan lie in wait for the winners here today. Saints, it's a familiar trip for them to Old Trafford and to a grand final. Remember, this is the side that dominated this competition for 4 long years. Can Paul Wellens conjure up something special? He's got a team full of superstars. Maybe, just maybe, they have got more left in their locker. Second of the semi-finals from this year's Betfred Super League in a cauldron of atmosphere here at Sewell Group Craven Park. Soak it up. Let's go to our commentary team for this one. John Wells and Dave Woods.
Just in time for the song, the wonderful sights and sounds ahead of a match that means the world to every single person inside this ground. Well, there's a grand final in touching distance. For St Helens, it's 1 week on from a miracle. From Hull Kingston Rovers, it's 2 weeks on from an historic trophy lift. But for both, it's back into the crucible again with the biggest prize still to be won. Old Trafford awaits. John Wells alongside me. This could be thrilling here today.
Look, it's going to be thrilling. Good afternoon, Dave. A semi-final, I think two sides we know boast so much game-changing talent. Look, I know the boys have said, look, Hull are probably understandably the favourites. I think this will be tight. I've got a feeling this will be tight. The route to the grand final may be decided by moments, a moment.
Yeah. Well, it is momentum of the season that has got Hull Kingston Rovers this far. It is that magical moment from St Helens that have got them to this 1 week away from Old Trafford situation. Mikey Lewis sticks it high. It's already a sprinting test for Sailor to get there, and he gathers it safely, and St Helens start from here.
And already an early marker thrown down by Jeslett, and darting run from dummy half. A decent first set for them, and backed up with some stern defence for the first couple of tackles.
Well, Saints just looking to batter their way out of their own end of the field. John Bennison with the latest carry. I mentioned it in the build-up, but Mark Percival is such a huge miss for St Helens. You give yourself a mental memory of any St Helens game you've watched in the last few years, and you get that picture of Percival just running it out and hitting the line hard. But here comes Wormsley. One play to go. St Helens are going to be kicking here through Wellsby off that left foot, and it's Morg's turn to return, or hand it on in this case to Davis, and Davis carrying it back. There's going to be a real intensity here tonight, isn't there? And that Hull Kingston Rovers defence has been famed throughout the year. St Helens are desperate to get off their own line.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of the most improved element of Hull Kingston Rovers this season.
Warren Hargreaves with a carry in. Litton having a look. Michela helping it along the way, and May with a little kick over the top, and the chase is on here, and Petr Hiku. But Sailor should be and is there first, and scrambles to relative safety. He's got a pass in him as well, but Holkingston Rovers' defence is so intense, it's right up there. Jenna Brooks down on the touchline. What are you telling us?
Yeah, hi Dave. We thought it would be dry today. Unfortunately, we had some rain a little bit earlier. The ground is very damp, a bit greasy out there, so expect it to be somewhat slippery. It is, however, meant to stay dry for the rest of this game. Fingers crossed. But you mentioned Mark Percival obviously missing tonight for St Helens through that injury. Huge blow. Mickey Mack as well not playing for Hull KR, who was of course brought in for these big kind of games. You would think, and I have heard that if they are to advance to the grand final, he will be back for the big one.
Well, we shall see. Walmsley carrying on. 15 away from that halfway line, but St Helens already have run it down to the last play of the set. So again, Wellesby's forced a kick. He's got a bit of depth on that, and the bounce though is kind for Davis to bring it back again. That is a Super Saints chase, but you'd expect that at this stage of the game, especially this stage of this kind of a game.
Just keeping my eye on Mikey Lewis here, key player for Hull Kingston Rovers. Alex Walmsley absolutely clattered through him, made a beeline for Mikey, and he has made his way rather slowly, rather gingerly back into the line for Hull KR. This is the challenge. It did look like he took a heavy contact and was slow to get back to his feet.
Well, that's quick hands, and suddenly Burgess has got Purchase on that left-hand side. Brilliant recovery there from Robertson, who got a hand on that to steer it backwards and deny Hull Kingston Rovers an early try.
God, it's a brilliant piece of intervention from Harry Robertson, needed to be. I mean, this is going to be Robin's ball. That's the break, tip onto the outside. Burgess looking for Mikey Lewis in support. That's a really important intervention early on from Harry Robertson. Tristan Saylor cannot clean it up. This will be another early examination of St Helens' defence. Yeah, Saylor just not able to pick that ball up cleanly.
Pressure remains. Hull Kingston Rovers desperate for a quick start, looking to shake off a few cobwebs which have just appeared in the last few weeks. Mikey Lewis readies to feed, and it comes from Litton to Lewis and Shorts, but there's no way that's going to be bullying through the St Helens defence on that occasion. Lewis again, and taken but a little off balance by Sue, just a little behind him, so no real momentum to gather in. Litton again, Warrea Hargreaves just goes barging forward. 3 gone. St Helens' line remains strong. Litton, May, long one out to Moore, the fullback, puts the step on, but 3 of them waiting for him. And they're doing a job here, Saints in defence. Hiku, this is May, and drops it off again, and Warrea Hargreaves are actually losing a bit of ground. St Helens' intensity in defence is pushing them back a little, but there's one play to go. May, and Lewis up to the line and delivers the pass, but Gildart loses the ball, and Saints come up with possession. No advantage, and Saints get it back, and it's high fives, low fives all around for the Saints defenders.
And I'll say this, that looked comfortable for St Helens. Everybody communicating the defensive line. Unlike the last set in possession with the Robins from deep, no overlap created, nobody looked stressed at any point there. That'll be a real confidence boost for Paul Wellens.
It's a good point that Sam and John were making in the build-up as well, that St Helens could defend their way to a winning position here. Their defence this season has been exemplary across the year. Just 314 points in the regular season conceded, and Hull Kingston Rovers are better than them in that respect, not by many.
Walmsley again, he's picking out and seeking out Mikey Lewis every time in possession. He'll be asked to take this again.
Yeah, Lewis is definitely, he's looking a little shaken here, isn't he? Either physically or mentally, or maybe both. Saints are looking wide, and Wellesby's joining in as well. Step back inside, and Whitley hit to the ground. Last play. Oh, and there's a little bit of hesitation here, but turns this into a desperate kick off the boot of Sirenen. It's in a way reasonably well, but it has given Hull Kingston Rovers a chance to build a platform close to the halfway line again.
Oh, he's got such good footwork as well, hasn't he, Artur Morg? Nearly turned Morgan Knowles inside out there.
Listen to the noise. Hope this is coming through back home, wherever you're watching, because It is a terrific atmosphere, and St Helens fans are adding to that, despite being outnumbered.
Shot.
Hadley goes down. Lytton steps up. Warrea Hargreaves battling in again. Clark bravely in there. Step by Minchella. Trying to find a path. Can't free the arms. Saints' defence is working hard. Here's Lytton. This is May. Morg's involved again. Hiku just trying to step out of the tackle. He does that, but there's nothing else for him on there because Saints' defence recovers well. Here comes the last play. Lewis sticking it up in the air. He got rattled there by Sirinen as well. Saylor's taken it, has to take the ground. And Saints start close from their own line, but picking up on John's point again, Mikey Lewis is not having a comfortable half here so far, is he?
No, look, and it'll absolutely be certainly part of the game plan. Shortlisted player of Man of Steel again this season, one of the best players in Super League. And he's been targeted, rightly so, if you're, from a Saints perspective.
Well, talking about not looking comfortable, neither is John Bennison. And the last thing they need is one of their outside backs to go down injured, because if Bennison has to come off, there's not much on the bench that looks like a like-for-like change, is there?
No, it's a big issue that for Paul Wellens. They're already missing 3 frontline wingers. Bennison was reeled and careered out of that tackle, and now the referee, and he doesn't look all there, does he, Bennison? Scored a famous try last week to take him to this position, and that's an immediate, you could see the signal coming. He'll leave the field for a head injury assessment. There's going to have to be some reshuffling going on now. Yeah, an unwanted change for Paul Wellens this early in the game.
And by Delaney, Bell and Stevens, by the way, at the 4 on the bench.
Oh, he's collected an arm here. Now you wonder whether this will get looked at all by the video referee.
And there's an extra concern here for Hull Kingston Rovers as well, because Jared Warrea Hargreaves is walking a bit of a tightrope in terms of discipline. He's not that far away from accumulating points that might see him suspended from the grand final. He's not being looked at for that, but that's a concern for the rest of the game. Jez Lytton equally is very close to accumulating suspension points that would put him out of a grand final too, so eyes on that situation as well. So now he's looking to blast their way out of trouble. Clark. Time to consider the next option. Robin's defence motoring up, and with 5 plays gone, Saints find themselves short of the 20, so they're looking for a bit of width here to find an escape room. They're doing a decent job of this as well. And Wright still going, lost the ball, and Saints, well, they were put into panic mode, and Hull Kingston Rovers defence, the winner there, has given them an excellent attacking opportunity.
Oh, they've been trying to juggle the defence. Tristan Saylor's taken a position up on the wing, still trying to find out who's playing fullback. It's Wellesby who's gone back there, and during all the confusion, Lomax with an errant pass picked up, and now the Robins on attack again.
This is Lytton, inside for Lewis, stepping up that right foot and putting the accelerator down, but Lomax superbly in there. Short and hard from Sue. But Soasa Sue held up just a couple of inches away. The kick from Lytton to the in-goal area. Wellesby's there to collect and clear. And
really smart play. Yeah, smart play from Wellesby. Don't forget, started the game in halves, moved to fullback out 45 seconds ago, found himself in exactly the right position, tracks across the back, takes possession of the ball. But Saints again, they're under heavy pressure here.
Robertson plays, Clark picks up, throws it inside, across the line from Mbaye, who's on the field. Clark again. Walmsley just blasting forward with a real wallop. But again, they're very much deep inside their own half when they find themselves running out of tackles. Mbaye, having come on, is handy for his kicking ability as he sends it downfield, and Burgess will bring it back.
Yeah, there's something to keep an eye on as well there. Midway through the tackle count, Saints, they're looking for a get-out, a shift to their left-hand side. It'll be a point of order for Willie Peterson for that Robins right edge defence.
Just to tidy up things with Benison off. Saylor's come to the right wing, hasn't he? And crossover on that left-hand side.
Yeah, Wellesby to full-back and buy into the halves.
Warray Hargreaves can't get arms free. Here's Litton. Minchella. May with a couple of dummies and then tries it on for himself, but Lomax bends and puts the shoulder in. It's kept alive and Minchella's got space in which to run. Has he got support? Yes, he has from Litton, who puts the foot down. Was he being pulled there? The ball's kicked out of place. Well, there are claims and counter-claims all over. Referee's got some sorting to do here with the help of his touch judge.
Well, it's whether there was a pullback from Wellesby in this. So the offload straight away from Suaso Su. Minchella into the backfield, squirms between two defenders, and Litton drops it on the toe, and it's just whether that's a pullback on the shirt from Wellesby. That's not really two players chasing the same ball. There is a shirt grab that does advantage St Helens and disadvantage the Robins.
See what the referee says.
Jack, just let me speak, please. Just let me speak, please, mate. You've pulled him back, and it's a clear potential try scoring situation.
Oh, big moment. Big moment.
Wow.
Wellesby is sin-binned. Saints down to 12 for the next 10 minutes. The coach is furious. He's perplexed. An advantage Kingston Rovers.
Wow, that's a massive call. Huge call. Because I tell you what, look, it's a penalty, but, you know, I think I'd have been happy with a penalty. I think it's a huge call to say that was a genuine try-scoring opportunity. The ball had squirmed. There were other players in the vicinity. Oh, gee, I'm not sure you could say that's a try-scoring opportunity. That is a massive call. And St Helens now will spend the next 10 minutes without a recognised fullback on the field as Jack Wellesby,
without their star man,
sits on the side. I mean, that's a huge call. Massive call. And the Robins, probably understandably, taking a little bit of heat out of the situation here. Artur Morg with an opportunity to open the scoring. It's the right side for him, but it is probably 4 or 5 metres away from this near side touchline. You get the feeling, based on the first 10 minutes or so of this game, that points may well be at a premium this evening, Dave.
Well, Hulkinson, I talked to one or two of their fans in a build-up today, and they were saying, we'll see what kind of hockey are we get in the opening 10 minutes, whether they are back rejuvenated and running on a full tank. Well, at the moment, it looks as though that is the case. Artur Morg just telling the ball where he wants it to go. It's all about how he strikes it with the boot, and it is sliding the right side of the near post from his point of view, and Hulkingston Rovers lead by 2 points to 0.
Yeah, penalty taken successfully by Artur Morg. What a brilliant individual player he is, and excellent from the boot as well. But I tell you what, that is a huge call, and I'm not sure I agree with it, Dave. Massive, massive call. This is the break again. Litton, look, I'm not sure, even after this kick here, that's a genuine try-scoring opportunity. The ball was making its way towards the touchline. There were other players coming across. And Jack Wellesby has to now sit out. And can St Helens ride out this remaining 9 minutes or so?
Well, we saw his thoughts on that, didn't we? He clearly thought that it was a dive from Jez Litton.
Well, look, there's a shirt pull. There's a shirt pull, and it's a penalty for sure, but I think that's probably about it. I'm not sure that's a professional foul.
Suaso Su with the immediate return. Litton at dummy half. Burgess fancies a go. Benison off with that HIA, so disruption to the three-quarter line. Wellesby, sin-binned. Starman, mercurial talent, away for 10 minutes. St Helens are going to have to dig deep here.
So there's an issue for Suaso Su in back play as well. Still on his knees, just got back to his feet now. And he's a player who's struggled with injury over the last few weeks. They do want to keep him on the field.
Litton jogging into position. 5 gone. This is going to be a kick here. He's behind the 40, is Mikey Lewis. He's testing the touchline, but Robertson is there with a very safe catch. And Hawkins Rovers again are up quickly.
Yeah, he's met, isn't he? And some brute force from Dean Hadley. JWH finishing up over the top.
Saylor on tackle 2. 2 or 3 St Helens players understandably just slowly getting back behind the play the ball, just conserving a little energy. Step inside from Whitley, playing in that unfamiliar centre's role today. Clark picks up. Wormsley again, that's a good surge from him. Metres after contact, immense, and it has put St Helens on the front foot here.
Well, I tell you what, again, seeking out Mikey Lewis in the shape of Alex Wormsley. That time they got a bit more, but they're not finishing the sets off particularly well. There's a downside, fourth player attacking Mikey Lewis. He's on an edge. They're having to find themselves ending a set, finishing a set from an awkward position. It's a trade-off, that, isn't it?
Lovely little piece of footwork there, wasn't it, from Ollie Gildart to avoid contact with Morgan Knowles.
And you'd want to avoid contact with Morgan Knowles if you could possibly do that.
Minchella, May, Morg, Hiku, the step, just slicing through. You can forgive that St Helens left side defence for being a little bit disorganised, given the unfamiliarity of them all. Warrea Hargreaves, Morg again. Can't skip over the bodies. Minchella, May and Lewis, and finds width for Burgess. It's back inside for Mikey Lewis. Electric, electric from the Robins attack. And they have the first try of the afternoon.
It's such a good play. It's a brilliant finish, created by Mikey Lewis. Saints a man down. It's not the first time they've come to that edge and released Joe Burgess on the outside. This time in a much more attacking position. Saints with a lot less real estate to work with. And take a look at they spread from right to left. And Mikey Lewis just finds the pass straight into Joe Burgess and then supports on the inside. First blood, certainly in terms of try scoring, from the Robins. Line ball, Mikey Lewis crosses. It's just that shape, that really familiar shape. Minchella to May to Lewis, cut out ball to the outside, and then he picks up try number 20 for the season. And Willie Peters is up on his feet. It's a sharp piece of attacking play from the Robins.
Well, it's his first try in 7 games at Mikey Lewis, and isn't that a little bit of a reflective of Hawkins Rovers bouncing back to where they were up to and including that win against Wigan back in August. Since then, it has been shaky at times, but a Lewis try settles semi-final nerves a little, and Morg has a chance to give his side a 2-score lead. Similar spot from his first success. And similar outcome by the looks of it. It is. Flags raised. 8 points to 0. St Helens have barely been out of their own half. They need to fix this up soon.
Oh, look, just such a familiar shape, isn't it? Minchella to May, out the back. The lead line from Dean Hadley was outstanding. And Mikey Lewis just following up on the inside, and isn't he happy? Happy boy. Classy talent. Try scorer for the Robins. In this sin bin period for Jack Welsby, he's looking like a painful 10 minutes for Paul Wellens.
Well, those are looks of concern, aren't they, from Paul Wellens and Lee Breers. Need a response here. Need to dig themselves somehow into the game. What they cannot afford is for the game to begin to run away from them.
Gosh, that's big, heavy contact from Matty Lees.
Burgess again. Lengthy stride as he hits the line. Lytton. Davis this time from the other side. Little again. They're queuing up for a go. Warrea Hargreaves. Well, familiar bumpers up from JWH. An entanglement that follows between him and Lees. Lewis will kick from behind the 40. It's close. Well, Saylor, has he kept it in? Yes, he has. No, he hasn't. Referee says knocked on. Come back, Tristan. It's all in vain. Well, Saints are getting carried away here, but it ain't going to count. Saylor has knocked it forward, is the opinion of the referee.
Jeez, that's another big call. It was a really well-aimed 40-20 attempt from Mikey Lewis. He absolutely... well, it's not knocked forward, he's out of play.
He's out of play,
yeah. So he grounded... You look at it's the right foot of Tristan Saylor as he touches the ball. I mean, it's a tight decision. And in the end, you put that down to a radar-like boot from Mikey Lewis.
Well, they had to wait for Morgan Mills to come back to decide whether they're going to challenge that, I think, but there is not a captain's challenge.
Well, I'll tell you, it's absolutely imperative that Saints hold out the Robins here for this next set of 6.
Litton picks up and Lewis goes wide and out it goes, and May's involved as well. Shrugs off a couple of defenders, is still going for the line, and eventually has to succumb to the weight of numbers. Saints defence prevails, but for how long? Sue battering it in, his name echoing around this absolutely packed stadium. Minchella stepping back, pushes off Lees, thought about the offload, thought again.
Well, they've got him on the left here. They've got him on the left here.
Litton goes right, double bluff. Batchelor plays. It's with May. Sue's fallen to the ground to let play go on behind him. Here comes Gildart. One play to go for St Helens to survive. Burgess, well, has he lost count? Has he lost count, or are they simply happy enough just to hand the ball over?
I think he's just happy turning it over in that tight corner, making St Helens work out of it. Wellsby prowling the touchline. He's waiting to rejoin the fray. He's back on the field now, so Saints back up to 13.
Wellsby back out there. His side having conceded all the 8 points they had conceded in his absence. Hawkinson Rovers' defence is just absolutely giving nothing away here. It's crashing in at anyone who has the tenacity to come running at them. Knowles. Again, it's the last. Again, Saints find themselves deep. Wellsby sticks it up there. Simple catch from Davis. And Hockey start from here. What news on John Bennison? Jenna
Yeah,
Brooks.
we saw him 15 minutes ago, didn't we, go down. It didn't look good. He came off for a head injury assessment. I can tell you it is not good news. He has failed it. He will not be returning tonight. And, of course, if they were to go through to the grand final, he would not be taking part in that either.
Thank you, Jenna. There's always heartbreak at this stage of the season, isn't there? Minchella. May, and a short ball again, but Martin. Pick up by Gildart. Inside again for Tyrone May. Hadley. Testing the Saints' defence again. Stretching the seams. Litton throws it wide. Gildart with a catch and a step. Holding off defenders. Flicks it up. Burgess scores. Not the tidiest of finishes, which is why we've got a second look here.
We have a try. Just confirming touchline grounding, please, mate.
Touchline and grounding, you heard it. Let's hear for the video referee.
Tackle 5, we've got a try on field. We're checking the touchline into grounding, please. Just run this through. Ball carrying arm is up. Ball carrying arm is up. See where he catches this ball. Feet are in the field. He maintains possession of the ball. Feet
appear to be up. Have we got something from the side angle, please, on this? Just check where the feet are. The foot is lifted. Right, and can we have something from the opposite camera to confirm grounding? His feet are in the field. We just need to confirm grounding of the ball now. From this angle and slow. Can we go frame by frame, please? Hands are on the ball. Hands are on the ball. Have you got something to confirm that his left hand stays on the ball, please? Watch his left hand here. Right. Have we got all, is this all available angles on this? Yeah, so be able to run it through on this, please. Go back, please, just a tiny bit. Right, his left hand. Watch his left hand. His left hand stays on the ball. His left hand stays on the ball all the way to the ground. I've made my decision.
It's going to stand. You always know it's a tight video rep decision when the replay goes up on the big screen and everybody cheers, both sets of fans, because they think they've seen enough evidence for it to go their way. But it's the Hull Kingston Rovers supporters who are cheering now. It is a try, T for try. And 12 points to nil with a kick to come.
There's some superb footwork, some really subtle stuff from Oliver Gildart in the build-up to this one. Just a stop and go on Harry Robertson. He was just letting out dummy half. It's just that little drift to the outside of Harry Robertson. Draws in Saylor, who's repositioned to the right wing. And Saylor has to step back. And then the ball, I mean, Morgan Knowles very nearly does enough to disrupt Joe Burgess, but video referee seen enough there to suggest that Burgess had maintained control, maintained possession of that ball.
Some more from the touchline, toughest of the three so far, but big kick.
You wouldn't back against him, would you?
This for a 3-score lead. Psychological demons playing in the minds of St Helens if he can put it over. Minimal back step, but he's put it wide. So it remains 2 tries and 2 goals that St Helens are behind at the moment. Not insurmountable.
Yeah, the damage done there by Jeslett and getting out against a static defence, forcing Robertson laterally, Oliver Gildart. Saylor, you've got to remember, started the game at full-back. John Bennison's failed HIA means he'll spend the rest of the game on that right wing, and you've got a feeling that Hull KR might be coming back there at the next opportunity.
I don't think we have seen a St Helens play the ball inside the Hull Kingston Rovers 30, have we, so far? Never mind the 10 or the 20.
Yeah, look at that. Not one. Not a single one.
Saints have to dig deep. The world against them at the moment. Momentum all with Hull Kingston Rovers. But as we know, you never write off the Saints. May throws it wide. Hicker with a catch and a carry. And getting the arm free and finding May back in support. May puts the foot down, Moore puts the ball down. Knock on, let Saints off the hook.
Ah, the butchered one. Petter Hickels turning Matt Whitley inside out on that left edge defence for St Helens. Tyrone May, well, it's not the cleanest of passes, but it's very much a try-scoring opportunity for the side that's sat top of the Super League table since the early rounds of Super League. That's one that's got away for Willie Peters. And a let-off, a real let-off for St Helens, who are under the pump at the moment. They are under the cosh. They're under some serious pressure right now.
Saints need a settling set here. Saylor with initial carry, made a few, lost a few.
Geez, they need a foothold in the game, Dave. I mean, they've played 90% of their rugby in this area of the field. As you said previously, the Robins giving them absolutely nothing.
Knowles. We said it last week, we'll say it this. We might be saying it next week. Could possibly be his last game today for St Helens, Morgan Knowles.
Yeah, take a look at the stats on your screen there. The possession swing is massive. 64%, approaching 2/3 possession as we get towards the half-hour mark.
Well, Wellesby's travelled well and taken Saints inside their opponent's half with 2 plays to go. This is as good as it's got so far. Delaney. Here's Clark. This is the last play, and Wellesby with a little dab over the top, which makes it very difficult for Morg, who's going to be dragged into his own goal, is it? No, he's not.
He's done well. He's done so well. And he's not the biggest frame, is he, Artur Morg, but he squirmed his way back into the field of play. That was significant, that. But now Saints get the opportunity to apply the blowtorch to Hull KR.
That has hushed the crowd, hasn't it? Because Hull Kingston Rovers know that here they are the team in trouble as Saints turn up the heat.
Yeah, these are hard carries now for the Robins. Already midway through the set, still inside their own 20.
Lewis with a little dummy and off he goes. But the trap was set. Lytton had a dummy half because of the last play. Kick's pretty good as well, isn't it? My goodness, that's trouble. And Dion Cross picks it up in his own in goal. And Burgess has got up there quickly, and so too has Hadley. What a kick that was.
I'll tell you what, that was nonchalant from Dion Cross. Just ambled his way back to that ball.
Robertson. Oh, he's lost it. Was there a hand from Lewis? It's going Hull Kingston Rovers' way. Yeah, I think they have to. At this stage, they have to challenge that, don't they?
Jack, we have a captain's challenge. St Helens are challenging the on-field decision of a knock-on. I've deemed there's 2 knock-ons. The first one of Harry Robertson.
It's tackle 1. Saints are challenging the on-field ruling of a knock-on of Harry Robertson. Harry Robertson in possession at this point. He's in possession. Then go back on this angle, see what are Lewis's actions and intentions. And is Lewis playing at the ball or not on that? Have we got any other angles? Right, Mikey Lewis appears to be playing at the ball on that. Let's have a look if he is, this angle. Right, let's go back on this same angle, please, and check that he does touch the ball and not the hand. This angle and frame by frame. So Mikey Lewis is having a swipe at the ball, and he makes contact on the ball. Can we go back to camera 4 just for perspective, please, of direction? So we've established Mikey Lewis is playing at the ball and his fingers flick across the top of it as a swipe. Let's just check which direction the ball goes then. And the ball goes towards Saints' in-goal area. Thank you, I've made my decision.
Well, it clearly was worth a challenge because this is going to go Saints' way again. So they retain that challenge to St Helens, and they retain possession, more importantly, at the moment.
Yeah, look, the players know. Smart challenge. Video referee was establishing there whether there was a deliberate attempt from Mikey Lewis at the ball, and there was, and then whether it made contact with the ball rather than the player's arm, which it did, and then which direction it went in, which was towards St Helens goal line. So knock on against Mikey Lewis, and a really astute use of the captain's challenge from St Helens there.
The video referee and the referee are not going to cut any corners in this game,
well,
are
the stakes are so high, aren't they?
The importance of the game. St Helens just need a big set here, just to extricate themselves from this position once more. Clark out a dummy half. And bylining up there. Sirinen. It's hitting hard, but finding those 3 defenders ahead of him impenetrable. Little skip again from James Bell. running out of tackles, but plenty of room ahead of them that they need to cover. Now looking wide, and Wellesby's involved, and it's taken on by Wickley, looking for support.
It's been there out, hasn't it, towards the back end of the sets. That's been their get out of jail card a few times.
Back it comes to Lomax, who puts it up there on a blustery day. You never know, but it's easily taken by Morg, who can bring it back again.
Yeah, look, these are not easy situations for either back three this evening. You know, really blustery conditions. Storm Amy well and truly visited us this weekend.
So Hawkins the Rovers working from back to front. Meantime, I think we've got news on the touchline. Jenna.
Yeah, just, you know, the rain seems to be away at the minute, but I can tell you, look at that, the wind has really picked up these last few minutes. You can see the goalpost swaying there in the wind, so I wonder what kind of impact that'll have on the game.
Joe Lydon tells a very famous story from days of yore when he took a drop goal under a drop kick from underneath his own sticks, and the ball sailed back over his head at this ground. This tells you a little bit about how the wind can play tricks here. There's one for the teenagers. Last play. Mikey Lewis sticks it up there. The ball's going to bounce, and anything's on from here. But it's taken safely in the end, and Wellesby's there as well. And, well, Saylor did well not only to catch it, but to get it on again. But Saints have lost ground.
Favourable bounce from Matt Whitley in the first instance. Wellesby trying to make something happen. And now Saylor again down the short side, targeting Mikey Lewis. But this is a familiar position, isn't it?
Robertson again. We've spent a lot of this game looking to our left. Bell's looking on the ground. And by rescuing that situation. Still a couple of plays to go, but still in a familiar position, Knowles. Well, he's done well to flick it away, but Mikey Lewis is after this. How can this advance? Still bubbling around. Wellesby gets there. And I think we've restarted the tackle count. Of course we have from the kick. Saints get to go again.
Yeah, well, it's just a pass, wasn't it, from Knowles? Mikey Lewis very nearly on it. He kicked ahead. So that is a set restart. Wellesby does really well. That is body-to-body contact. That's legitimate. The Saints have got a break of sorts.
Bell to Lomax. Lomax, Robertson. And as he gathered that in, he was closed down immediately by Burgess.
Yeah, that's a fair challenge. Fair challenge for a loose football, that one.
One play to go. Bell to Mbai. Sirenen does well, and keeping it alive. And here comes Whitley on that left-hand side, out to Cross. But Cross just suffocated by retreating Robins defenders, and they have to hand the ball over.
Well, they'll be wondering what on earth's going on. There's a number of times now. Look, they're making good progress down that left-hand edge, but they've really got to think hard about how they're going to end sets. And that's been a real issue for them in this first half.
It's breathless in its intensity so far, isn't it?
Well, I mean, look, you're right. The speed at which these middle units are moving, I mean, it hasn't dropped off. It hasn't abated at all, has it?
Here's Whitbread. Sam Luckley's on the field as well. He wants an early involvement, and he gets it. And not only challenging them, but getting that pass away, but a big hit coming from Mbai.
Jeez, big shot from Mbai and Morg.
Lytton scampers and slips. This is the last play. Imagine this is going high. Lewis has to reach, though, and puts it along the ground instead. Wellesby just seeing a host of Hulkinson Rovers players coming his way.
Well, Hull are able to kick off the front foot. The chase are onside and are motoring downfield, and you know, it's rinse and repeat for the Robins. They have trapped St Helens in this quarter of the field for the majority of this first half, and they're labouring. Saints are labouring here.
And by a dummy half. Bell, Lomax, and the swiftness of hands led to the Little bit of a fumble. It's a real scramble. St Helens was the first knock on. Okay, I'll get it back here.
Well, they're really pushing the pass, aren't they? They're really trying to create something. And it's the knock-on from Wellesby. And it all became a bit of a mess after that. But they put themselves under pressure. And that's the frustration from this Saints side, who are getting absolutely no change out of the front of defence from the Robins. They're trying to go round them. And they put themselves on the back foot once again. 4.5 minutes to half-time. And as we've said before, in this situation, crucial that Saints hold out here.
Every game offers up a set of 6 just like this, isn't it? This is a huge set now in terms of the balance of the game. It tips maybe inexorably in the Robins' favour if they can score from here. St Helens desperately defending their own line. Whitbread. 2 settlers by the big men. 4 plays to go. Lytton. It'll jog out again. It's another big fella who tries his hand, luckily this time. Is there a play to come here? Pick up by Lytton, out to Rhys Martin. Lytton to Lewis. May, reaching down by his shins to catch that, so does well. Hiku steps back on the inside, and Hiku has reached, but has he been denied? Is this a moment of bravery? Has Wellesby denied them?
Well,
He thinks he probably has.
Hiku's telling you everything you need to know here.
Let's hear from the video referee again, Jack Smith.
Tackle 4, we've got no try. We're checking grounding of the ball. Hiku's in possession at this point. He's got a grip of the ball. The ball is up. Ball is still up. And he, let's just confirm on the opposite corner angle, please. He appears to lose the ball short of the line on that. He's got a grip on the ball at this point. Still got a grip on the ball. He's then lost possession of the ball short of the line. Thank you, I've made my decision.
Well, at the moment, it just feels like a try that Hull Kingston Rovers haven't scored, so carry on. But in the final reckoning, how big might this moment be? Who knows? It's no try.
Yeah, it's certainly another let-off for St Helens, who put themselves under pressure again. Petiku was racing back to the 10-metre line, hoping that he could get another play the ball in. He knew full well he'd made a mistake, he'd erred, he'd knocked on, didn't control the ball. There's Wellesby's hands as the fullback all around that. So St Helens will look to close out this first half, and if they could end up at the right end of the field, that'll be a start for them. Still to register a single play the ball in the opposition 20.
You don't need to be a mathematician to recognise the difference between 18-0 and 12-0 at half-time. So important for St Helens that they survived that. Clark just feeding it back in here for Delaney to have a carry. Clark's ready again. Looking to bludgeon their way through this time from right.
Yeah, they're trying to put work through Mikey Lewis defensively, but they're pinning themselves, they're putting themselves in really awkward positions.
Knowles to Mbai. There's something developing on that left-hand side, and here comes Wellesby. Robins' defence recovers. Saints are moving forward. Bell. Cries it forward as it lands in Knowles' hands. Last play again. Mbai. Wellesby. A little chip and a chase. Davis catches and returns.
And the ball really holding up. The wind swirling, it's changing direction minute by minute. And now St Helens, Davis couldn't really make much of an impression. Neither does Morg.
Gilder. Lewis again. And now Martin, who's just trying to Stoutly take it in. Saints should get it back here. I think there's time for Hawkinston Rovers to run the clock down on the half. Lockley with the offload, but they might do it by scoring the try. Hiku. Oh, this is going to be a tester, isn't it? Last play, this is going to be steepling. Oh, it's a drop goal attempt from Mikey Lewis from distance, but he's put it well wide.
Well, geez, he got hold of it well, just didn't have the direction. He struck it well enough, but he's just drawn it to the near side of the uprights. And there's very little time for Saints to do anything here. Hull KR will be happy just to ride out this next few tackles.
33 seconds left on the clock in the first half. St Helens have got a major task here if they're going to go 85 metres or so before the hooter sounds. Bell's doing his level best. Maybe a couple of plays. And by. It's Lomax. Wellesby. Worked all the way out to Dion Cross. He's going nowhere. He's dragged out of play. And that will bring an end to the first half as the hooter sounds in the background. Hawkinston Rovers utterly dominant, deserving at the very least that 2-score lead. St Helens second best, but cast your mind back a week and Saints were in a similar situation at half-time against Leeds, and we knew how that ended.
Have to kick any distance. This wind could really help St Helens in the second half.
I think they need a hurricane. I don't think there's enough wind in Hull to help Saints this second half.
All right, Sam's not for changing. Paul Wellens, he's got 40 minutes to rescue this season, and who knows what lies ahead if Saints can't do it. Here come Hawkinston Rovers. Let's get back to our commentary team. Will they be there at Old Trafford for a rematch against the Wigan Warriors next week? They know the route there. They've got 40 more minutes to seal the deal. Enjoy the second half now with John Wells and Dave Woods.
Well, just a couple of weeks ago, they became officially the 9th different league leaders. Shield winners did Hawkinston Rovers. They're aiming to be the 5th different grand final winners in a week's time. But they have still got 40 minutes to get through here. And as poor St Helens have been, and as lacking have they been in terms of position in the game, John Wells, they are still just about in this.
Yeah, look, and recent history would tell you that they don't need much. They need a sniff. They need a sniff of something. I will temper that by saying, though, that the Robins have only surrendered half-time leads on 2 occasions this season. Wigan in round 7, Leeds in round 17. Other than that, this has been a side that has swept all before them.
So Mikey Lewis kicks off. Hawkinston Rovers 40 minutes away from a grand final. St Helens need not quite a miracle again, but they need something very, very different in this second half. Can they go back to the well again and produce something sensational, or do Hawkinston Rovers simply see this through?
Well, look, I think they need to score first. I don't think they need to score in the next 10 minutes, next 15 minutes, but they need to be the next side to score points. If not, I think Paul Wellens is bringing the curtain down on 2025.
Well, they look right, they're looking left. This is Robertson with a step, but nowhere to go. Saylor readies himself. Wellesby inside. Delaney now has found a bit of an angle, and a gap briefly opened, but closed just as quickly. Wellesby under a bit of pressure to get that kick away. It's a low, flat trajectory, which Joe Burgess has done well to pick up on the bounce and return it. Let's hear from Jenna Brooks about what was said in the dressing rooms at half-time.
Yeah, Paul Wellens, the St Helens head coach, came out first. He acknowledged that not a lot went their way in that first half. He said that some of those things were down to them and others completely out of their control. He said that the onus is on his St Helens players to fix it in this second half. Willie Peters called it a good first 40 minutes. He said that they left a lot of chances out there, and the most important thing in this second half is to ice those big moments.
Absolutely, absolutely. This stage of the season, you have to score the points, otherwise you might regret. Oh, that's a big hit from Ben.
Well, he's put himself about this opening set. He's really trying to lead the way for the rest of his players.
Mikey Lewis's kick is for the corner. It's not a 40-20, and in fact hits the corner flag. It's a question of whether it was in touch before. So the video referee is just having a look at this to decide how we restart.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Well, he has made a decision and decided it hit the flag. And so it is a tap back on the 20 and a 7-tackle restart for St Helens. Clark. Would have done it almost, spilled by Knowles. Looking for him back into the hands of Lomax. Clark again. Here's Wright. Miracle try-scorer last week. New 2-year contract in the days that have followed since. Here's Lomax. I think that contract is not just based on his dramatic involvement 7 days ago. Saints up to the halfway line, and that's a rare feat in this game so far. Tackles still in the bag. Bell. Clark's having a look. Last play in the set. Lomax, they're going to try and run it. Wellesby flicking it away. It's helped on, and they've got support back on the inside, and they've fashioned somehow a try for Dion Cross. And what were we saying? Never write off St Helens. Well, they needed to score first, and they have scored first. And suddenly there's a different mood around this place.
And they scored early as well. Short side play earlier in the set from Johnny Lomax, and that left edge for the Robins never really resettled, did it? And a lovely smart dummy back on the inside, taken by Arthur Morg. And Dion Cross, well, he's absolutely silenced this crowd, this big partisan crowd that was well and truly in party mode, has just been hushed. Last play, which we were lamenting in the lead up to half-time, the boys said the same down at pitch side. Last tackle options, well, they were below average. They weren't up to snuff. Well, St Helens have responded and said, how about that then?
And by the way, they've still not had to play the ball in their opposition 20 because that all developed much further downfield. Johnny Lomax is the goal kicker. He's the only St Helens player on the pitch at the moment who has kicked a goal this season. Felt and Percival and Whitby not involved. Benison has gone off. So Lomax looking for his 11th success of the season. He's looking towards the St Helens fans. He'll be looking for their reaction as he sends it their way. Always hit the post and it bounces in. And suddenly there is a very different picture to this game.
I'll tell you, look, there's an omen there. Just in that last set, that's really engaged the Saints fans. And it's re-engaged everybody at home who's watching this. Whitley finding Cross, and this is a cute little play. Half anticipated that Arthur Morg would try and intercept something coming back on the inside, and Saints are alive, and they're kicking, and they're in this semi-final.
Well, that kick earlier to the corner flag, what a huge decision that has turned out to be. Giving Saints the ball and giving Saints a chance. Clark. Robins fans finding their voice, knowing that their side need a lift here.
Well, they've been stunned. They've been stunned in the opening 3 or 4 minutes of this second half. And this guy's been, I think, right in the middle of it. James Bell, really aggressive, both sides of the ball.
Goodbye. Considers the options. Wellesby out. Robertson is falling over the diving Hickey. Last play again. Goodbye. Sirenen. Here's Saylor. Well, just kick it up there and see what happens. Well, there's hands reaching for it. It is taken by Moore. Hawkins the Rovers a chance to settle the ship again here.
Yeah, real good kick pressure put on the last tackle. Just about recovered. Wellesby got an arm to that, didn't he? Well taken in the end by Artur Morg.
It's Burgess underneath that lot. Lewis Dance's left and taken on by Rhys Martin. Grand finalist, of course, under his previous guise as a Leeds player. Luckily, so many of these Robins players having appeared in the grand final last year as well, so they have the know-how. You cast an eye down that St Helens lineup, and it's something similar. Has that gone out of play? Yes, it has. Well, 2 kicks, 2 disasters, and St Helens are given a leg up again here.
And he's had plenty of time as well. Look, there'll be the conditions will play an effect, but so will that sort of kick pressure from the inside from George Delaney. I'll take you back to one of Sam's playbook suggestions at the start of this game, that Hull KR cannot play like favourites. They could very easily fall into that trap. They need to play simple, get back to basics, do what they did for the opening 20 minutes of this game.
Clark dashes, a little bit of a dart. Hope is alive. Knowles short for Delaney, who came at pace and with power. 3 to go. And by inside, Wellesby can't evade what's coming at him. Pick up by Clark. Now it's Bell. And an offload. Oh, it's a penalty because the tackle was complete. There's the explanation.
Yeah, first error from James Bell. He's been really busy. You see the ball carrying arm down.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually a poor error, is that? He's been so good, really aggressive, really leading that forward pack, but that's a misstep from James Bell.
There's a much more liberal attitude to players playing on after the tackle is called out, isn't there? But when it's when the ball carrying hand or arm hits the floor, there's no arguments there.
Right, that's an absolute textbook example as well, isn't it? Couldn't get clearer than that. They put themselves back under a little bit of pressure here, Saints.
Well, they came perilously close to having a play the ball inside the Robins 20 there as well. Here's Litton. Incorrect. Play the ball from Elliot Minchella.
And he has the opportunity to challenge. He did ask the question, but I think he thought better of it as well. So it's not regaining his feet correctly, not in control of his body, seemed careering forwards.
Yeah, it was always falling into that, wasn't it? So St Helens, in terms of this game, in a relatively advantageous position at the moment.
They'll be absolutely delighted with the start to this second half.
Walmsley. Here's Clark. Lomax. Right, just trying to bully his way through. Clark again. Saints reshaping, back to the middle, and quickly out from Litton, but loses his man momentarily, but there's more waiting behind. This is Clark. Minchella. Lomax. Quickly out again to Cross. Plenty of defenders across there, but Dale Cross doing very well. And now they have a play the ball inside the Saints 20. 50 minutes played. What do they make of it? Wellesby with a kick. Backtracking defenders. Up go the arms. Robertson very nearly took that in mid-air.
Well, it was a brilliant kick from Wellesby, invited Robertson onto it. And it's a brilliant defensive effort from Tyrone May. Question mark there whether there was a tackle in the air. Referee happy to let that play on. And now Saints get the opportunity to really apply some pressure. Was this tackled in the air? I'd argue yes. Maybe got away with one there, Robins.
In rugby league, it really doesn't matter what's happened before. It's what's happening now that counts. And right now, St Helens are right in this. And Hull Kingston Rovers looking a little more hesitant. Penalty. There's going to be a challenge here, is there? No, there's not. Penalty goes Robin's way.
Yeah, generally when they come out at speed like that, they've been helped on the way. Yeah, it's Shane Wright's right hand, just as he's coming out of possession. No arguments from the Saints. Well, this game's got a very different complexion to it now.
You fancy picking a winner and putting your mortgage on it?
Not really. And this is James Bell overstepping the mark here. I told you he was aggressive. I told you he was going hunting. And he's hit Dean Hadley on suspicion, and a second penalty given away by the middle forward. You look at him careering out the line here. He's making a beeline for Hadley. Hadley never receives the pass, so that's an easy decision for the referee to make.
Clearest penalty you're likely to see. And back-to-back has really let Holkar off the hook here, hasn't it?
Absolutely it has, yeah. Look, it's one of those ones because it's an effort-based error. And you know, Paul Wellens will probably, you know, if they get to this set of 6, will probably wear that because it shows good intent. It's a little naive, I'll say, but...
Hadley. Oh, and again, that's a bit of needed return for his side from Bell. He's working hard here, but he has eventually stopped Litton.
Well, Litton was asking, he was imploring the referee that Bell wasn't square. Referee having none of it. And this is defence with some sting now, isn't it?
Whitbread on the charge. Litton nestles into dummy half again. May across the line. There were defenders stepping out there, but it never quite got across. And is there a problem here? Reece Martin, he's taken one on the nose, hasn't he? The referee doesn't seem too interested in this from a disciplinary point of view. I think he's happy to accept there's an accidental error in contact. Although the video referee is having a look. He's okay. Ooh. Wow.
Shane Wright late in over the top. I'm not sure how much contact he makes there.
Common sense discussion going on between referee and touch judge, and the penalty is going to go Hulkington Rovers' way here. And boy, are they going to kick for 2 in this position.
Yeah, it's a penalty. There's not much in this at all, is there? But yeah, there is contact with the head. It's glancing at best. You know, it's an opportunity for Hulkar to settle things down a little bit because it has been a real topsy-turvy opening 10 minutes or so of the second half. Saints have woken up. We get the opportunity to take this into a 2-score game once again.
Well, Baltimore had 3 attempts and kicked 2 of them in the first half from a similar angle from where this is being taken, but it's Reece Martin who's actually been given the duties this time around.
I think when you've got 2 really competent goal kickers, it's just a feel, isn't it? In the moment, you know, there'll be a player who'll put his hand up and step up. You're right, Artur Morg, well, you could argue he has been the dominant kicker, largely because of Reece Martin's absence this year. 2 very competent kickers of a ball.
Well, Morg has landed 76 so far this year. This would be Martin's 31st, but as you said, he's not played as many minutes as he would have hoped to have played this season. 85% success rate, but he's missed it. Well, he took a moment there to look at that flight. He was disappointed in that, of course he was. But it'll be a dropout from the 20. Holkar should get it back. Nervous times when you're the owner of a club and a grand final is beckoning.
And a wry smile there, just as our cameras cut away from him. He'll be well aware the cameras are on him at the moment. Dropout taken, no hint of going short from St Helens. Jack Wellsby trying to put as much distance between them than their own try line, and they can get back down to business again defensively.
And there's equal amount of nerves on the other side as well. Manus looking on, the St Helens chairman, and both fellas, like so many others in rugby league, have just done so much for their clubs, haven't they, down the years. 15 minutes of the second half played, and it's a knock on, and Saints race in celebration, but there's going to be a challenge here.
Well, that's interesting because Joe Hargreaves has actually acknowledged his error before this challenge came in.
Hull KR are challenging the on-field decision of a knock-on.
Well done.
Tackle 3, Hull KR are challenging the ruling of a knock-on. Tackle's complete at this point. He's got a good grip on the ball. Let's go back on this same angle, please. Hargreaves got a firm grip on the ball. Walmsley's coming out of the tackle, but takes his hand across the ball and takes the ball out. Hargreaves will be in strong possession of this ball, so the challenge will be successful from Hull KR. It's ruck interference.
Well, like you said, Jared Hargreaves seemed to step away from that with an apology to his teammates, but the challenge has thrown it back in his favour. Saints have a penalty.
All right, look, the decision is ruck interference. He's not looking to reef the ball there. He's looking to extricate himself from the tackle. There's no attempt to flick the ball with his wrist. No attempt, no fingers in there.
On a tap restart for Hull Kingston Rovers. Having missed a chance to re-establish a 2-score lead a moment ago with a Martin miss. Now with a chance to go for the 6 and go for the jugular. They have been rocked back in the second half.
Key period of the game. Really key period of the game. Important part of the game for both sides here.
May. Martin travelling towards the middle. Lytton quickly up again. Lewis. Well, they're central here with 2 plays to go. They've got numbers right, and that's the way they go. May now switches the angle of attack. Hargreaves. Mikey Lewis directing traffic on the left-hand side this time. What can he produce here? The kick is high. Burgess is after that. The ball goes to ground. It's kept alive. It's still alive on the 6. And Saints somehow throw the fire buckets over the fire and put the flames out on that. And Saints get it back.
Well, it was a brilliant scramble, wasn't it, from St Helens? It was Hull KR through the kitchen sink at that play now. Noah Stevens hammered by the Robins.
The noise, it is getting louder by the minute. We're back to a familiar model of the first half. Saints desperate to get out. Hull KR ever so keen to keep them right there. Clark. Not many steps taken by him before he feels a bit of muscle in the ribs. 4 to go. And by. Here's B. And here's Robertson. And again, spun to the ground by May, rather. And on the last, and Bay's under pressure, so has to give it to Lomax. Kick is spinning, but it's caught safely. And Burgess comes back.
Yeah, he was really careful with that as well, wasn't he? Joe Burgess had a lot of time to track the flight of that ball.
There's Davis. Ooh. And Bay looking for the big hit, but Davis just bounced off. Morgs having a look for himself here. What's available behind the ruck? There's Lytton. Hargreaves. Moving towards the end of the set. Slowly moving in the right direction. Michela back on the inside, and Martin can't get much further. Lewis. Well, he was knocked over. Referee says nothing in that. And Saints come up with possession again in the shape of Dion Cross.
You know, it's heavy kick pressure from Morgan Knowles. Wow, that's a wild ball.
Looping pass that Mbai will be thanking nobody for. Lost them yards. Walesby keeps it alive. Clark feeds it right.
Well, they're working on absolute scraps at the moment, St Helens, aren't they? Hull KR doing a tremendous job this end of the field. Look at the line speed again. Whitley going absolutely nowhere. Litton makes first contact. 2 other Robins in there. This is so good from the Robins.
Walmsley rampaging out wide. But they've run out of tackles again here, run out of plays. They need a boot to find themselves out of this. Catch by Davis. 20 minutes of the match remaining. That's at the moment what we're looking forward to. But St Helens are still in there and fighting. Hickey. Here's more. Oh, well, Hickey's got up. And to use the vernacular, has given a gobful to the referee. And then underlines that by speaking out of turn again.
Oh, wow.
And that is just the most unnecessary pair of penalties you will ever see.
It's the first couple of penalties, I think, as well, for Saints. I'll tell you, we said right at the start of this game, didn't we? There'll be moments within this game that will have a huge bearing on the outcome. Are we seeing one of them? Have we witnessed one of them? Because that has given Saints a really easy leg up into Robins' territory.
That is absolutely unforgivable from Peter Hickey. And if this results in a St Helens try, I suspect his teammates will be telling him that. And by bounces in, ball back on the inside, Knowles. Here's Clark. And by again. Wellsby sought out, hunted down. And it was Hickey, I think, who delivered that tackle. And he and Wellsby, just a little bit of afters going on as well.
Well, he's redeemed himself in part, hasn't he? Jack Wellsby took his eye off it and just saw what was coming at him, which was a Peter Hickey determined to make amends.
So many cameos on the night when a big story is going to be written. Wigan comfortably at Old Trafford already. Holkingston Rovers and St Helens in hot pursuit. Advantage the Robins at the moment. Litton. Oh, he's doing well. There's his value amongst many other attributes. May. Pushing away Serena. Finding more space as a result. Could see them waiting on the outside, but too many St Helens defenders in the way. Now they go left. Lewis sticks it high. The challenge is on. It bounces down, and it's a try from Ollie Gildart that goes a long, long way to taking Holkingston Rovers to Old Trafford, if it is given.
Jack, let me go through the process. Time off.
We're going
Jack,
for the video
tackle
replay
5.
on this.
We have a try.
He thinks try, but here are the reasons for doubting it.
2 knock-ons in the build-up, please, mate. Just obviously on the kick chest.
See it for the video referee.
Tackle 5, we've got try on field. Checking for potential knock-on, comes from a kick. So it's going to be pause ball on foot, please, Mikey Lewis. Pause it on the foot. All Hull KR's kick chase have both feet behind the ball, so we're clear now to run this through to the contest. Everybody's onside. This is a fair contest. And that appears to be backwards from Burgess. Have we got any other angles? This one on slow, please. Stay on this angle, please. Can we go back to this one, please? Check the hands of the player. Go here now. Go towards that ball. It's Burgess's hands, and it always appears backwards. Have we got anything from the other side to confirm that, please? This one might be our best one. Right, that is always back from Burgess. I'm happy I've cleared this bit now. It's onto the pick-up. Have we got one where we've got a clean, possible of a clean pick-up, please, on Gildart? So I'm happy with this bit. Hands haven't touched that ball at that point, and that is clean from Gildart. We now need something close in for the grounding and the touchline, please. Gildart is in possession and his feet are in the field. Still in possession, slow at the point of the ball grounded. And the ball is grounded, is in the field. I've made my decision.
Well, only Gildart has spent most of the season in misery. A knee injury in May left him out for weeks, if not months. But now he's scored a try that could see him in a glorious occasion in October. A score that edges Kingston Rovers ever closer to a grand final.
It was a brilliant kick from Mikey Lewis. And crucially, Mikey Lewis knocked under pressure. I put that down to Tyrone Mays. Wafting, weaving run back across. No kick chase. Free hit for Mikey Lewis. Puts it right on the head of Dion Cross. Burgess climbs above and Gildart finishes the corner. So many moving parts, but crucially, Mikey Lewis, all the time in the world to pick his spot, draws Dion Cross forward. Burgess with a tap back, and is that the try? Is that the try that takes the Robins to their second successive grand final?
Well, it's a conservative punch of the desk, a more exuberant punch of the air. Coach yet to be convinced. Fans feel it's close. And they now know that again a miracle might be needed. One missed. One missed. He'd love to nail this. Starts it off looking good. Oh, but it doesn't finish that way, so 0 out of 2 from the normally ever so reliable Rhys Martin, but 16-6, still quite the scoreline at this stage of the game.
I'll tell you what I like about that kick. See how far it drew Dion Cross forward. Never really in control, especially when there's numbers in the landing zone. It's a real gamble. And Hull KR come out on top, and Oliver Gildart, as you said, horror season for him. Is that the try? Is that the try?
There is nothing definitive about that scoreline, just that it heavily favours Hull Kingston Rovers. Saints have provided one counter-punch in this half. They're capable of more. Hickey with a heavy carry. 15 minutes to play. Ray Hargreaves eventually back to his feet. Minchella.
Yeah, conservative set, isn't it, from the Robins? Just low risk, get to the end of the set. Mikey Lewis in position. This will be strafed downfield.
Morgan Hills is after him. He doesn't get there before the ball leaves the boot. Cross will bring it back. And it's a troublesome welcoming party he meets.
Well, look at this. The Robins just careered downfield. The kick chase from Burgess and Gildart was good. We look at the line speed now. Slow play the ball.
Cross is still hurt after that last collision as well.
Well, they've got to manufacture something here, Saints. Touch under 15 minutes to go.
Knowles back to Lomax. Clark, settle line ahead of him. His option only is to put it out. Serinam crashes forward. Minchella came flying in to make that hurt. And on the last, it's fed out to Mbaye again. Morg has got to come quite a way. Saylor got there first, but the clean catch and the tackle means that it's a handover nonetheless.
Right, they're just doing enough, aren't they? That's twice now Saints have managed to get over the diminutive fullback Robertson. early on in this second half. Now Saylor, but the Robins just doing enough to make sure that that's where it ends. That's as bad as it gets.
Is 861 pounds, the winning number on the screen.
There's Davis.
139.65.
Here comes May.
That's 139.65.
Sue. Litton. Reece Martin.
Interchange with 3
Minchella.
chartered accountants for
May. Oh, and this is Morvis, but a bit of a step on, but he's thrown it behind, and Saylor picks up. And here now comes by. But Moore righting some of the wrong by making that tackle. Saints again given an unexpectedly advantageous position here.
But they're really not dropping into shape, are they? You're right, they've been given an opportunity, overplayed by the Robins, but you look at what's happened. The following 20 seconds, they've gone absolutely nowhere.
Matty Lees. Lomax is making some moves on this left-hand side. The ball is switched to him here now. He's trying to dummy his way past Batchelor and Minchella. And by again, Sirinen. Trying to get that on free. Oh, and he has got it free, but he's given it away. And this is Batchelor now. More of a gallop than a sprint, but he's done his job.
Well, he's absolutely determined to get the offload away, and he's put his side under pressure again. This is the side that's running out of time. They're running out of road, St Helens. There's a bit of desperation there, so Sue gobbles it up.
Jack Broadbent's just come on the field, and this is his first touch. I think it's Morg he's replaced. And Hull Kingston Rovers looking to land the killer blow if they can. Lewis with a dummy and the dash. Lomax had his number. And a penalty goes Hull Kingston Rovers' way.
Well, it was a good tackle. It was a good tackle first up from Johnny Lomax. He caught Mikey Lewis on the drift out, but just a tug on the leg, and then a push from Whitley as well. So the penalty against Whitley.
Well, they aren't bothered about the two.
Well, they've got an opportunity now to kill this game off.
Yeah, trying a goal does do that. A simple goal there just extends the lead to 12.
Right, this is the moment now. This is the moment where the Robins can write their name on a ticket to Old Trafford. Saints trying desperately to hold them out. This is their season on the line.
Hold it, 10. Hold now. Hold. Goal 2.
Litton. May. A miss-out pass. Defenders just finding themselves out of place momentarily, but Gildart is stopped. And May. Clark's grimly holding on to the ball and the man. It's with Minchella. Inside for Hadley. Litton. Rock was moving in front of him. May now puts it back. Mikey Lewis gets a pass away, and the Ridgemen do that. His first took them very close to Old Trafford. His second has confirmed that next Saturday, Hull Kingston Rovers will be playing Wigan in the grand final. 9 minutes to play. There's surely no way back for St Helens now.
And the stadium has absolutely erupted. There was a fair bit of nervous tension in the air. But Oliver Gildart has put a full stop to all that. A sigh of relief, a puff of the cheeks from the centre. His 9th try of the season. He's arguably the most significant, the most important, because it sends the Robins to Old Trafford to a second consecutive grand final in 2 years. And again, the burgeoning development of this club. It's a pass that does a couple of defenders from Jez Litton, and then cool as you like from Mikey Lewis, and twisting the tackle, and an exhausted, desperate Saints line is breached. And Gildart celebrates with us straight down the lens. his double on the 63rd and 71st minutes have taken this side and those fans back to the grand final.
But Altamore has come off, as we mentioned a little earlier, and Broadbent went on, and it is not tactical, we're told. There's an injury here that he has.
Well,
given his bright involvement this season, that will be a big concern.
It's looking at that, it may be a lower leg issue. I know Jenna May Albert should be down there beavering away, trying to get the information for us, because it's massive, massive information if there's anything serious.
So Rhys Martin settles himself again, looking for a first success off the tee for the night. Listen for the roar if it goes over. Oh, he's hit the post. It's 0 out of 3. 20 points to 6. And the situation is this, that St Helens, who've had one play the ball in the whole match, now have to, in the opponent's 20, have to score 3 times to win the game. Jenna Brooks, what news down there?
I can tell you, I watched that man there come off. Tua Morg, he came off. He didn't look like he was in too much trouble there. This is the injury, I should say. I spoke to the doctor. He said that it is a lower limb issue, but it's nothing too concerning. And I mean, a week out from Old Trafford. Come back to me, it's too good.
And off he goes! Off he charges! Joe Burgess! A run of pure celebration! Now the party starts in anticipation of what's to come. He wants a second opinion. Mikey Lewis asks why.
We have a try. I'm just reviewing a potential escort on the catch, please.
Escort on the kick-off. Video referee. What's the opinion?
0 tackle. We've got a try. We're checking for a potential escort prior to the catch. It's the wide angle. Looking at Hull car players. Right, let's go. We've got something tight in on this, please. There appears to be lateral movement. Let's see any possible collision. Right, yeah, go back, please, this same angle. Rhys Martin has to move in a straight line back towards the ball. He moves laterally across the pitch and into Lomax, which prevents Lomax from making a catch on the ball. Thank you, I've made my decision.
Put the fireworks back in the box. Just for the moment. It ain't gonna count.
Well, it would have been a Hollywood moment, that, wouldn't it? Joe Burgess, such a good mover. Saw him streaking away, and it'll be for naught because this will be declined. It's an escort from the short kickoff.
Well, he scored a big try, didn't he, in the semi-final last year against Warrington. Video referee gave it to him on that night, but he doesn't get the opinion this time around. But just to revisit that thought, St Helens have only scored 1 try so far in the game, and in 73 minutes have only had 1 play the ball inside the Hull Kingston Rovers 20. They now have to score 3 times in 6 and a bit minutes.
Well, they've got to score now. They've got to score at this visit, the next available visit, and the next available visit after that. Now, we're not writing them off. We're not saying that they're not miracle workers, but I tell you what, this is a mountain to climb.
Well, if last week was sensational with what they did, if they do something to win this game here, it would be utterly extraordinary.
That's an excellent play defensively. Tyrone May gets in, and Saints now once again running down the cul-de-sac.
They will not be tackled with ball in hand. We know the script. Clark. Walmsley's waiting. Walmsley with a big push, the big surge. 2 plays to go. Bell skipping to the right-hand side. Clark, though, brings it left and by. Looks for the gap and finds Robertson. And Robertson will score. And suddenly we're asking just maybe again.
Tackle 4. We have a try. Just confirming there is no option.
Keeping the tension tight. We're back to the video referee.
Tackle 4, try on field. Checking obstruction, please. We got the high behind. Let's go slow as each lead runner goes through, please. So it's Sirinen. Right, go back on this, please. Let's just check. to the line of Sirinen. Sirinen's running inside shoulder line, which is what we would want him to do in this situation. Let's go now, please. Sirinen's running inside shoulder line. It's a defensive decision by Hiku. And Moses Mbai does not run behind his own man. He passes the ball first. So this is all okay to this point. Just tight on grounding, please. He's in possession at this point. It's a fair challenge. Still in possession. And the ball's grounded. I made my decision.
Surely not. Surely not. They've got one back. They need 2 more.
It's stage 1 of 3. They've got just over 5 minutes.
Lomax settles himself to bring his side to within 8 points with 5.5 minutes to go. Lomax's kick is very, very good, and feel the nerves re-established around Sewell Craven Park, because the miracle workers are at it again here.
Well, it's a misread. It's a misread defensively from the Robins. Pete could go searching for something. Moses Mbai really cute, patient, right-hand side of your screen. It's Hiku gets well in front of his defensive line, gives Davis no option on the outside, and it's a walk-in almost for Harry Robertson. Now, is there time? Is there time?
How are the nerves? How are those nerves? Does he believe? Do they believe? Well, they've got a chance. Walmsley, big set again here.
Well, there's a nervous man because he saw what happened at Headingley last week. But Saints, and that's another good defensive read.
No,
Saints have got to go. They've got to go, and they've got to score this set.
Nobody from Hull KR will want to be reminded of what Salford did to them in that £1 million game those years ago. But we're in that kind of territory. It's Sirinen. I think we'll get an almighty roar just for a set completion here from the Hull KR fans. 2 to go. Bell skipping it out, and Mbai tries to twist and turn, does very well here. Last play. Do they run it? Do they kick it? They're going through hand at the moment. They're ripping up the playbook. They're just taking their chances. Robertson with the footwork. He's kept it alive. The ball's to ground. And a cheer of relief from the Robins fans.
Well, who is it? Elliot Minchella. The minute the ball went to ground, they were straight into it. Baltois very nearly connected heavily there. Davies took evasive action. He's off again, Bell.
May. This is good footwork. Hiku not only occupying the thoughts of defenders, but running the clock down a little as well.
Take a look at that. Oh, I'll tell you what, Davies did so well to get out of the way because Bell was absolutely gunning for him.
Here's Litton. Step by Minchella. Last play. 3 minutes to go. 2 scores needed for St Helens. Lewis's kick is certainly not the best of his day. Mbai picks up and scoops it back to Saylor. Wilkinson Rovers line come forward in a line. It's a kick over the top. It's a chase on as well. Who gets there first?
Wow. Wow, that's a massive play. Huge play from Wellesby.
Saints still coming. But they have to score twice. Clark taking them closer.
What a play from Wellesby. What vision, what bravery from Wellesby. The set-up here.
St Helens simply do not know when they are beaten. What a spirit in this side that Paul Wellens has engineered. Oh, but the kick is going to be picked up by Broadbent, and he can just satisfy himself that he's back in possession. 2 minutes left. Surely the clock now makes it impossible for St Helens.
Well, it's just one too many. I mean, look, you know, Sirinen back row, second tackle, dropping it on the toe. They put themselves in brilliant position through some really quick thinking from Wellesby, but then just too much.
Nobody tackled it. Nobody tackled it. And Broadbent is able to advance. Hiku. Searching the blind side through Litton. And just a simple kick to touch, and the clock winds down, and with just over a minute to play, surely now it's Hulkington Rovers night.
Well, the celebrations will start in earnest very, very shortly, because I think with that, Hulkington Rovers have done enough to secure themselves a place in the grand final this year. And what a huge achievement it's been. Real steady, organic growth on and off the field.
They're still looking here, Saints, but they've lost the ball. And celebrations from the Robins players on the field, matched by their fans in the terraces, because there's absolutely no doubt now. A ball dropped, the clock ticks on. They tried the challenge, but they've run out of time to make that challenge. Well, you've got to feel for Paul Helens. Such an impeccable individual, a man of flawless character, has taken his side against expectations to within a whisker of a grand final this year. But it is going to be Hulkington Rovers night. It's going to be Hulkington Rovers searching to be grand final winners. The clock has stopped with 3 seconds to go. We're going to have a scrum down. It's all academic. 3 seconds, and then the night is over. Picked out by Litton, simply kicks it out of play. That will be the end of it. Hulkington Rovers have been on a roller coaster, but that's where they're going. The treble is on. They're off to a grand final with a Challenge Cup secured and League Leaders Shield secured. Now, only Wigan stand between them and something very special. But in Wigan, we're talking about the reigning champions. So next week is going to be simply superb. It's first against second in the 2025 grand final. Hulkington Rovers have got there on a nervous night, beating St Helens by 20 points to 12.
Dave, John, thank you very much. Congratulations and commiserations between the two sets of players as St Helens season in 2025 comes to an end and Hull KR go back to a Super League grand final. They will face the Wigan Warriors next Saturday evening on Sky Sports at Old Trafford. 9-2 defeat last year. They'll hope to avenge that and complete a clean sweep. So much to pick out, gentlemen. We'll park the deep analysis of the game, but I want you to cast your minds back to the COVID-affected 2020 season when Hull KR won just 3 matches all year in Super League. They are now going back-to-back at the grand final.
Yeah, they've done nothing but climb right up the ladder on the field and off the field in recent years. I think Hull KR they've created this atmosphere we speak about. They've created on the field what is a really, really good side. I think they've got such a great balance in terms of how they defend, how they attack. I think they're the real deal. And what I love is next week we're seeing 1 against 2. Clearly, the 2 best teams in Super League will be going head-to-head next week.
Yeah, and I think one thing that Hull KR take into that game is a year of pain. You know, they got vanquished by the Warriors at Old Trafford last year, and you're so much better for that experience the second time around. And Willie Peters and his men have won big games this year. They've competed in big games, won 2 trophies, but they go into the big one with that defeat last year ringing in their ears.
Well, just confirmation, it will be Hull KR who finished first on the table, with Wigan who finished just behind them at Old Trafford in the 2025 Betfred Super League Grand Final, the 28th Grand Final in this, the 30th edition of the Super League competition. 5 o'clock, Sky Sports Plus, and main event with us. Oh, they've had a special year here at Hull KR, but they'll want to end it with a win at Old Trafford. They know they go up against a side who can stand toe-to-toe with them in the Wigan Warriors. Jeslin, well, he has been treading a disciplinary tightrope in recent weeks, but he has managed to get through tonight. He will play in the grand final.
Yeah, he's got there and in a difficult position. He's involved in all the conflicts within the game. Joe Burgess had some game tonight, real strong finish to the season for him's needed. You know, a big performance at Old Trafford for Joe Burgess, but I think for Willie Peters and for the whole KR team, it's such an obvious thing to say. The result was important. The performance secondary to that. And I think many of the elements of the performance tonight will please the club and put certainly things to work on going into a grand final.
Well, Neil Huncho, a man who as a ball boy, supporter, director, and club owner has seen so much. All right, Willie Peters made a big decision to bring in Ollie Gildard, replacing Jack Broadbent in the left centre position. He bagged the brace and the Player of the Match award. He's with Jenna.
And can you believe he missed 17 games this season due to a knee injury? Ollie Gildard, could that be the second last chapter of this fairy tale?
Oh, I really do hope so. It's been hard being on the sideline, you know, especially with the boys playing so well and missing out at Wembley. It was tough, but I'm just so proud to be a part of this group, and you know, I got myself right for the back end of the year, and Willie put his faith in me to play tonight, and I really appreciate that. And you know, hopefully I paid him back a little bit though. So
I'm sure you did. I want to talk a little bit about the game, because I feel like there's been a lot of talk about fatigue in this side of late. Was that Hull KR back to their best?
I think the first 40 minutes was definitely something we spoke about, is investing our energy into our defence and keeping them pinned down there. It's probably the hardest thing to do in rugby, and I think that's probably why we've been a bit off the last few weeks. It saps your energy, but you know, we had a good rest this week. Willie really looked after us, and I thought we was good tonight in the first 40.
Well, this will be your 5th grand final, Ollie. You've won 2, you've lost 2. I mean, you're just 80 minutes away from ending the greatest season ever in the history of Hull KR. What is it like to be part of this team at the minute?
Oh, it's really special. Like I said, I missed the Wembley, and I played in the league leaders, but I didn't really feel part of it as much because I missed so much of the season. So it'd mean the world to me if I could, you know, win Super League next week. For this club, the fans, everyone's been brilliant since I joined here, and nobody deserves it more than this club.
Ollie Gildart, congratulations, incredible performance. You are the Betfred Player of the Match in the semi-final.
Cheers, thank you very much. Cheers.
Well, when the game got hot, Ollie Gildart stood up. 2 very important tries. Well, the game needed to heat up, because I'll tell you what, it was inclement conditions here at Sewell Group Craven Park. Reece Martin had an off day with the boot as well. Quite unusual. He'll hope to fix that up for next week at Old Trafford. One man that maybe didn't feel the cold in the coach's box is Willie Peters, who joins us here pitchside. Ever heard of a jacket, my friend?
I need to borrow yours, mate.
It doesn't matter how you get into it, really, does it? The fact that you're there, your reaction, Willie, as you go back to a grand final.
Yeah, look, I thought the first half, I was happy with the first half, but we just didn't execute, you know, key moments. And obviously the team we're playing next week in Wigan, they did that last night, and that was the difference. So I was really happy with the first half, but I wasn't, obviously, the opportunities that we created, we needed to ice. But the second half, yeah, a lot of improvement there. We need to, you know, we went for an intercept. You know, a fullback went for an intercept when that wasn't on. We were looking to overplay a little bit. So there's a lot of improvement, that's for sure.
Oliver Gildart said in that interview, Willie looked after us in the build-up to this one. You ended the regular season with a win just against Warrington, then had a watching brief last week in the elimination weekend. So what was your preparation coming into this? What was the mindset and what was the physical preparation?
Yeah, I think we needed a rest and reset. There's no doubt about that. You know, obviously my friend here was pretty vocal around that, and yeah, there's a lot of people that were vocal around that, but we needed it. There's no shying away from that. But when you get the rest, then the other teams were the ones that were under the pump, so to speak, because they'd played every week. So what we did, we just had 2 days of training, enough to sort of tick it over and make sure that we're prepared going into this week. But they got the rest and reset they needed. They spent time with families. It was important that they freshen their mind, you know, as well as their bodies.
Yeah, how important is the memories of last year, Willie, going to feature in your preparation for this grand final this year? A lot of lessons learned from the last year's defeat to Wigan, will you use any of that in this coming week?
Yeah, look, again, last year was moments. I don't think we were ready to win last year. You know, Wigan were the best team all year. And we've shown this year that we're the most consistent, but obviously Wigan's peaking at the back end of the year, which they do. So, look, I think, again, it'll come down to moments. And if we're going by tonight's game, we didn't ice ours. So we need to work on that. We need to put them in different situations this week, you know, to make sure that we can work on that, because I'm pretty sure next week will be similar to last year's grand final. We might only get 2. They might only get 2. If you've got to ice them.
Yeah.
Willie, how important are the starter games to you? Because early on this year, we saw your Hull KR side blow teams away in 20 minutes. And last night, we saw that they blew Wigan away in parts for the first 20. How important is that going to be?
Yeah, it's very important. I think Lee's probably been the best at the back end of the year of starting games. Wigan's always start games well, and we seem to start games quite well as well. So it's big. You know, you want to start well.
Is that something you speak about going into games, like big of a start?
Yeah, we did this week. Because of the last few weeks we hadn't started well, I think we expect it now. It's an expectation. It's not around, let's start well this week and then we won't worry about it for 3 weeks. It's an expectation. But we certainly highlighted this week because we hadn't done that for quite a number of weeks. Grand finals, you're expecting both teams to start well and see how it goes.
Willie, you went with Oliver Gildart in the left centre. Jack Broadbent came off the bench. There was no Mickey McAloran for you today. What was the thinking behind pushing Oliver Gildart in front of Jack Broadbent, who, of course, Gildart returned 2 tries?
Yeah, so Jack's played exceptionally well all year in a number of positions. But the telling factor was that Gilly's a specialist left centre. If you have a look at the grand final last year, we talk about moments. We probably had 2 on that left side and we didn't ice it. We had 1 early on tonight and we iced it purely because one's a left-hand carry and he's a specialist left centre. So that's why we went with Gilly, but certainly Jack can play a number of positions and he showed that tonight when he came on at fullback at the end of the game.
What chance is Michael McAloran of playing in the grand final?
Look, he's a slim chance. We wanted him to play tonight, but he's dead set the toughest player I've ever coached, and I knew that he wasn't right, so we weren't going to risk him, and we'll just have to see. Look, we're comfortable either way, but he doesn't deserve not to go out and play in a grand final. What he's done in his career and who he is as a person and as a player, I'd love to see him take the field. So, he won't take the field if he's not right, but we'll see how it goes.
Walking in today, I spoke to a Hull KR fan, Ryan Early, who said, we want to get back to Old Trafford and we want revenge. Will revenge be anywhere in your thinking?
No, I mean, when you look at revenge and you think of it, like, people were saying it when we played against, when we lost to Lee, a couple of years ago, you start to worry about the opposition too much. We're big believers in just taking care of ourselves and see where it goes.
OK, you got more interviews to do. Congratulations, Willie Peters. You're back at Old Trafford. We'll see you next Saturday. Willie Peters goes to fulfil his media obligations here at Sewell Group Craven Park, and we can confirm that Willie Peters and Hull KR will be back in next week's grand final. They'll face the reigning champions, the Wigan Warriors. The clean sweep still on the cards for Hull KR, but they've got a heck of an obstacle in front of them in the shape of Matt Pete's side. 5 p.m, Sky Sports Plus and Sky Sports main event. Gentlemen, John, Sam, we need to talk about St Helens. We need to talk about Paul Wellens. We need to talk about the seasons they've had and the future. The future for that coach. Still no confirmation about a contract for next year. Do you think he will be coaching St Helens in 2026?
Well, there's been a lot of talk at St Helens about people not being happy with what they've seen on the field. I think they've assembled a team. I don't think they've assembled a top-end team, but I think they've assembled a very capable team. So if they think change is needed, then yeah, I suppose he's going to be under some big pressure in coming weeks.
Yeah, he's been under pressure all year, and maybe getting to a grand final and winning it would solve some of that pressure, but it doesn't really solve the problem for me at St Helens. That I think it needs a cultural mindset shift from Christian Wolff, from Justin Holbrook to something different, and that comes through personnel as well. I think the recruitment's been poor. I've been very vocal about the recruitment, and even we were having it out talking about this. I think there's 2 or 3 real weak spots in that team that let them down repeatedly, and I think that needs to change. They showed spirit, didn't they, at the back end of this season? The last 3 months they've showed spirit, but is that enough?
OK, well, what's the single biggest change they need to and can make? Is it a change of coach? Is it a change immediately for next season of personnel?
Yeah, I'd say that they're probably going to do both, aren't they? you know.
I think they've got a lot of players. The best teams, when you look at like Lee have had a good season, Hull KR, Wigan, you've got a lot of players in that group playing some of their best rugby, if not their best rugby at a time. You look at, you know, a Trout for Lee or a J Field for Wigan, and you've got different individuals playing well. There's nobody in that St Helens side playing near the best rugby. That's the issue for me. They've got enough talent in that side. If they all play to the potential, they're a very good side. There's too many not doing it.
Well, I think they work incredibly hard, and they've built this culture about working hard and effort, and I just think the game's moved on around them.
It's not enough, is it?
No,
effort alone isn't enough.
Hull KR doing that, but do it better. Leeds do it, but do it better. Wigan do it better. Lee do it, but they do it better. So if you're just trying really hard, there's other teams now that are competing with that.
OK, just a short while ago, Jenna caught up with Paul Wellens, asked him about the season end here for St Helens at Sue Group Craven Park and his future at the St Helens club. Here's what he had to say.
Thanks, Brian, the head coach of St Helens, alongside me. To come up short in the semi-final, I know must always leave a hollow feeling, Willow.
Yeah, it's usually disappointing. You know, we came here confident, we had a lot of belief that we could get the win, but it just didn't quite happen for us on the night. And, you know, it wasn't through a lack of effort, but, you know, I think if you sum up the game, in the first 40 they had a real stranglehold on the game and didn't give us anything. And at the start of the second half, we came out, really put some things into practice. We had a stranglehold on the game and then gave away far too many pressure releases. And you do that against a good side, you get punished.
Do you feel a number of calls didn't go your way tonight?
Yeah, but, you know, that happens when you come here. It's happened every time we've come here. And that's so I've got no excuses there. Like, decisions go against you at times, you've got to deal with it.
Of course, you lose John Bennison to a failed HIA after 9 minutes. How did that impact everything?
Yeah, well, it does, because we didn't have what you would call a centre who can play wing, and Harry's never really done that, and so we had to move Tristan and shuffle that around. And we also had 3 middles on the bench because we thought we were going to have to be big up front tonight. And then that, obviously, when you make a sub on a winger, that affects your interchanges too.
It's been a roller coaster 2025, hasn't it? How would you describe it? There's been many highs, there's been some lows as well.
It's been a real learning experience, that's for sure. And we all at the club, you know, when we step away from it and think back, we've learned a lot this year, a lot of things that will stand us in good stead moving forward, not just as coaches or players, but as people also. So we'll learn those lessons and move on. But we just weren't quite, you know, as good as we need to be, and yeah, we've got to improve.
You mentioned improvement and moving forward. In 2026, Paul, will you be the head coach of St Helens?
It's not something I want to get too caught up right now. I think, you know, what we've got in that dressing room is a number of players who've given a lot for this club over a long period of time, who are playing the last game for the club tonight, so I'd much prefer the focus to be on them.
But would you like to be?
Like I said, we'll have those discussions moving forward.
Thank you for talking to us, Wello. Thank you.
Yeah, the likes of Morgan Knowles, James Bell have played their last game for the club. Paul Wellens doesn't want to discuss his future. I would say this. In Paul Wellens, you won't get a more earnest individual. He couldn't put any more into the St Helens side. So if St Helens look at that and say, if this 3-year period is the best that we can get from Paul Wellens as coach, a change will be on the cards. And the jungle drums are beating on this one.
Yeah, you're putting me in a spot.
Oh, I can be directed to Sam.
But I want to talk about Paul's character. Paul, for people who don't know, Paul's one of my best friends, right? So I want to talk about character and the quality of person. There is no better person in my life than Paul Wellens. There's a separate thing there, is the pressure and expectation of being a head coach. Paul went into that job fully knowing, being a coach of his hometown team, you don't get an awful lot of time to get it right. And has he got it right? I'd probably say he hasn't, based on results. Has the club got it right? I think the club were irresponsible to give him the job so quickly. And I think
so the club were irresponsible?
I don't think they should have done it. In the light of what happened with Kieran Cunningham, I think Paul would have said he was ready. I think just give him a bit more time, be delicate with him. And not only that, give him a real thrust of recruitment. I think the recruitment of the club has been poor for a number of years. Look, Paul is a fantastic rugby league coach. Whatever happens with him, he's going to work in rugby. If not league, he'll definitely work in rugby union. But, you know, it's been a tricky time. It's been a tricky couple of years.
I don't think anyone could question the effort from Paul Wellens. You know, you can see the shots last week when they scored that try and got through to this game. There was nobody more passionate and happier about getting that win than him. And I think that's you know, the club could never question him on that. But I think a lot of it does have to fall on the shoulders of the players. But, you know, ultimately, you can't sack all the players. You have to sack a coach. So that
would you agree if they were going to extend his contract, we would have had that announcement?
Oh, of course we would.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul refusing to speak about it there probably shows you. I mean, it's everything. That's the answer in itself, isn't it? But I think what people need to remember, that what fans want is passion and commitment and loyalty to their brand. There's nobody done that and delivered that more. One of the greatest players the club's ever had, and the treatment of that process now has to be careful, I would suggest.
We've been in the trenches with Paul Wallens on the field, and there's few players you'd rather have beside you than the current St Helens coach. OK, so Saints season ends. Hull Kingston Rovers move on to next week's grand final. Will they have their mercurial French fullback Artur Morgue available for them as he came off injured in this game? Jenna caught up with him to find out.
I have the Hull KR star fullback, Artur Morgue. Congratulations, Hull KR through to a second straight grand final. How good?
Yeah, that's amazing. That's why we work so hard all the year. And yeah, just happy tonight with the win, but we know next week is going to be even tougher. So yeah, it's good tonight, enjoy, but we need to focus for the next game.
Closing stages, we watched you come off. You look like you're in a little bit of pain, but you're out here, you're talking to us. Everything okay? You'll be playing in that grand final?
Yeah, just a bit my left knee overextension, but I'll be sweet. I feel fine, so no big problem.
Well, there was heartache last year in that grand final. Is your team ready to be Super League champions?
I hope so. We'll see. As I said, it's going to be a tough game against Wigan, but we're going to prepare well and just give our best to win this trophy.
And finally, Artur, just on Wigan, your opponents, what did you think about the game last night, and what is it going to take to beat them?
I think you can see that even if they're on the back foot, they need like just a moment, and they can change the momentum. So yeah, we need to play every play and be ready just to have a tough battle.
We will see you in a week's time at Old Trafford.
Yeah, see you.
Well done to Artur Morgue. We haven't had many repeat grand finals from year to year. Leeds Bradford 2004 and 2005. Leeds and Saints, of course, you'll remember that trilogy 07, 08 and 09. Cheers. And now Wigan Hull KR 2024, 2025. In boxing, they love a rematch. I must say, this is one I was looking forward to. Hull Kingston Rovers getting another shot at the champions Wigan. And Wigan, chest puffed out, saying, come and get us. Well, do your best.
Last year was all Wigan, wasn't it? They won everything. They were the benchmark, and everybody was chasing them. Hull KR were second best. Well, it's roles reversed. Hull KR have been top of the pile this year. They've got a Challenge Cup. They've got the league leaders. They're going to walk into Old Trafford with a swagger about them now. That we are the new Wigan. We're the
you say that, but Willie Peters, it conceded here. He said Wigan are hitting their straps at the right time.
That's coach talk.
I think they
He's confident. He's confident.
The beauty of this one is Hull KR went there last year hoping, you know, there's a chance we could win. There's a chance we could win. Wigan were the best team. There's a chance we could win. Now Hull KR going there with the swagger of, well, we've got 2 trophies and we're in the last final of the year. And Wigan have got that pedigree of confidence behind them. And that's why I'm more excited this year than I maybe was last year for some reason, because there's a real point to prove now for Hull KR in this game. They could really fly into it.
Well, we hope so. It's a game you can watch with us on Sky Sports. Let's get a wrap-up of what's unfolded before us here at Sewell Group Craven Park. Who got injured? Anybody walking a tightrope suspension, or suspension tightrope, I should say.
Tightrope suspension.
It's been one of those. Storm Amy's blowing through my ears. Jenna Brooks, wrap it all up for us.
Well, I'm going to start with, I have just checked the weather, and Old Trafford in a week, it's not going to be raining. It's going to be a little bit warmer than this and not quite as windy. So that is the good news. Artur Morgue, that was probably the biggest concern, wasn't it, from this game? We saw him limp from the pitch in the closing stages. Well, you heard it from the man himself. He is fine. He'll be playing at Old Trafford. I also spoke to Mickey McAlorum, who has been out for a while with injury. I said, will you be playing at Old Trafford in the grand final? And he said, fingers crossed, I hope so. So that is also good news. In terms of some players who are on the verge of potentially getting suspended, Jez Litton, I think he got through that match safe and sound. down. JWH, there was that little incident with perhaps a swinging arm early on in that game, but as far as it stands, everyone is clear, and it should be an almost full-strength team come Saturday week. A sunny, hopefully warmer Old Trafford against the Wigan Warriors. Brian.
Jenna, thank you very much. JWH and Mickey McIlroy, this is fascinating if he does go with Mickey Mac, who's missed the last 7 games now, and he doesn't, I mean, he won't play huge minutes at the Old Trafford Grand Final. Jared Maria-Hargreaves spends as much time running up and down the sideline here as he does on the field for Hull Kingston Rovers, and I'm respectful of what he's achieved in his career, but they're 2 players that they seem to have to try and put into their 17 to try to lift everybody else around them.
Yeah, but there's a calmness to them, though. I think it's not always about on the pitch delivery. I think they're big personalities who have a calmness in the eye of the storm. You're in the middle of chaos. You look around you for calm people and calm voices, especially in the week of a big game. And I think JWH will be a real comfort for a lot of players going into a big game like next week. The difference is Hull KR are a bit further down the track than they were. I think JWH and Mickey Mac at the start of the year were way more vital than maybe they are now. They're almost like training wheels for several players to get them to this stage. I feel like Hull KR's confidence is in a position where it's almost not needed to some extent, but big game experience. Mickey Mac it'd be huge if he starts the game.
Yeah, Mickey will play next week and he'll start. I'm pretty sure he will. I think the thing about those 2 is the winners. The winners, they've been on the big stage. There's still this Hull KR side, you know, they've had some success really recently. These fellas have been doing it for 10, 15 years. Do you know what I mean? They're so experienced in big games.
All right, well, stay on that point. Does that knock Jack Broadbent out of the 17?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a tough gig, isn't it, for Jack? He's had some year. So versatile. But that's the issue with being versatile, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you've got a choice of Jack Broadbent or Mickey McLaurin...
It's not. My issue's not the choice. Jack, it's tough on Jack, isn't it? After the year that he's had.
The versatility that he has as well. Of course, you know, Arthur Moore, when he was cup-tied, Jack Broadbent was able to move straight from centre to full-back. Flawless transition as well. And of course, they won...
If he can put 15 kilos on this week, maybe might get on as a front rower.
I'm just making the case that if you go with Oliver Gildart, who's a specialist centre, that's one thing. You go with Jack Broadbent, who can play competently as left centre. He can fill a variety of positions if something goes against you.
Oh yeah, there's massive reasons to get Broadbent in. I just feel like there's not going to be enough room, is there? Mickey's, if you've got a choice, you know, Broadbent's good. He's not top end. He's not a superstar of the game. It's not like he has to be in the 17. Where Mickey, I think, if Hull KR want to go and beat Wigan next week, they need Mickey McLaurin on the field.
Okay. That's coming up for you next Saturday live on Sky Sports. We'll bring you